Kia ora everyone, you are with now our review of the year. Thank you for being with Checkpoint, not only today but throughout 2016. Auckland's housing crisis dominated headlines this year. Families with nowhere to go, living in overcrowded houses or in cars or anywhere they could find a place to lay their head. We heard from 11-year-old TA whose family ended up at Auckland's Tapuia Marae after the family at 8 had spent months living in a van. Teenager B was there too. She'd moved to Auckland for cancer treatment, but her family had also found themselves homeless. Checkpoint also revealed Wins was spending thousands of dollars paying for families to live in hotels while they waited for emergency housing. But it all began in May when I went to South Auckland to see for myself how serious the situation had become.
10. 10?
And how many bedrooms?
3.
10 people in a house isn't too bad around here. There's Joy's mum and dad, Joy's 5 siblings, Joy herself and her 2 kids. And what's it like in your house? How many bathrooms have you got for 10 people?
1.
And where do your children sleep?
On the lounge, on the bed, on the ground.
On the ground, and in winter it's cold inside with damp and condensation, and inevitably Joy's kids get sick. What sort of sickness do they get?
Chest, asthma, rashes, breathing problems. Yeah.
It's common around here, that stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
Joy dreams of having her own space, an insulated bedroom for her children, somewhere warm and dry, a rental of her own. And are you on a waiting list to get your own place so you don't have to live in a group of 10 in a 3-bedroom house?
Yes. Yes.
And how long have you been on the waiting list for?
For about 2 years.
That first house we went to where there were 17 of them in there, so there was a tent out the front?
Yep.
Then what?
There was a tent at the front with 4 or 5 beds. There's 17 people in total living in this house, but they also had people living in the garage out the back, and they had a caravan parked there. And the mother said that some of her kids also sleep on the hallway.
I'm with Jenny Salisa, the MP for Manukau East. She took me to that house with 17 people in it. They were too shy and ashamed to speak, but I saw the tent and the garage and the bedding on the floor. 3 generations of an extended family, 20 minutes down the motorway from central Auckland.
It's a 3-bedroom house with only 1 bathroom, 17 people sharing that. It's overcrowding, and you heard the mother saying that a lot of her kids are sick. Many come with positive strep throat. They have bronchiolitis. You know, with overcrowding, you have those sorts of issues, and so there are other costs to our society with overcrowding.
Who's this person, Venus?
This is my daughter, Faith.
Hi, Faith. How are you? We met Venus and little Faith as we walked about. How many in your house, Venus?
13, 12.
How many bedrooms?
3.
How many bathrooms?
1.
Faith gets sick all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear that now. You're chesty now, aren't you, little girl? Yes, you are. Wow. So what's it like in your house? How crowded is it?
It's crowded, eh? Yeah, it's crowded. Very crowded. There's like so many people. Everywhere you go, there's somebody. So yeah, it's crowded. And dusty. And furry.
And cold. Does it get damp?
Yeah.
Does it get mouldy?
It's really cold, yeah. Like where the windows and then all the wetness.
Condensation?
Yeah.
I'm standing in front of some state houses, and if you can't see them, if you're listening on the radio, they really are way past their best. There looks to be a lot of damp, a lot of rot. They really are in very poor condition, but there is a waiting list for these. If you can't get up the waiting list, if you can't get into a state house, you can go private. Now, this is one of the poorest areas in Auckland. This is a neighbourhood where money is really tight, but beside the state houses, there is a property for rent. It's 4 bedrooms, and they've done a little bit of work on it, a lick of paint. It looks like a house the owners might be proud of. But the rent for this, well, I inquired, and you can get it for $580 a week. $580 a week to live here. Now, if you work a 40-hour week at $16 an hour, which is more than the minimum wage, that's $640 gross, and this place is $580. What needs to happen?
We need to have more houses.
Jenna Solisa says it's a crisis now, beyond the understanding of most New Zealanders. State houses are full, private properties are so expensive they're out of reach, homes are crowded beyond what's healthy. There is a desperation here now.
Where are those families going to go? Where are they going to live?
Jenny, do you think people who don't know these communities, who don't know Otara, who don't know Mangere, who don't know this part of Auckland, understand how bad the situation is here?
I don't think they fully comprehend just how bad it is. When you see people renting out their garages at $380 a week, a garage that is not converted, a garage that is, supposed to be for a car, not for humans to live in. And when you see so many of our children come through and they're sick with all sorts of respiratory illnesses, John, this is New Zealand. This is Aotearoa New Zealand, a first world country. And yet I see this many families who don't have a place to live, who are living in their cars, working families living in their cars in New Zealand.
Tuani Murray was just one of the homeless people we met this year in need of emergency housing with nowhere else to go. Tuani, her husband and wheelchair-bound son, had been living in a Housing New Zealand property in Papakura for 10 years, but they left last year in fear following an incident where armed men turned up at their doorstep. So with nowhere to go, the family ended up in a Takanini motel, emergency accommodation, where I met them for the first time in late May. Hello, I'm John.
I'm Rasta.
How are you?
Oh, not too bad, mate.
Nice to meet you. Hello, I'm John.
Hi, Twainy.
Hi, Twainy. Nice to meet you. This is Claire,
Hi.
our camera woman.
Hi.
Hello, what's your name?
Kyle.
Nice to meet you. How are you, bro?
Good.
Good. How come you're in a wheelchair? What's up?
I don't. Mum. He was born like that. Yeah. He's got a condition called cordial regression syndrome. Layman's terms, he didn't form properly in the womb, and just came out like that. Yeah, special.
So there's the three of you, right?
Yes, just the three of us. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you here like Nicole next door, being paid for by WINS?
Yes, we are.
And what are you paying to be here?
We currently paying work and income have paid $2,400 and something for us to be here for 2 weeks.
So $1,200 a week.
Yes, practically yes.
And so that's just under $200 a night, somewhere,
Yeah.
okay, just below that.
Yeah, that's right.
And when your emergency accommodation runs out here, where will you go?
Wouldn't have a clue.
So Tuani, her partner and their wheelchair-bound son were a priority for a Housing New Zealand house on the 18th of May. And the $1,200 cost per week was repayable to work and income. 3 weeks later, I went back to see them.
But yeah, this will be our 4th week in here. So.
And I have your papers here. So you have, when we first came and saw you, you were next door, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And you were paying how much a night for that room?
$165 a night.
And now I see you're paying $205 a night. So that's $2,870 for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's correct.
And where's the money for that coming from?
Exactly. The government.
So WINS,
Yeah.
you go, in fact, this is an application, right? You go and apply for an emergency housing allowance?
Yeah, an extension on to be housed here. Yeah, for emergency housing.
And so you pay $205 a night for this room that you're in with your partner and your son who's in a wheelchair?
Yeah, Kaya.
And then you are accumulating debt with WINS. How much do you owe now, do you know?
Roughly about 8,200 and something. Yeah, that's my debt to WINS.
And have you started to repay it?
As of next week, I apparently am. $27 a week.
Okay, so is $27 a week being deducted from your benefit?
Yeah.
And how much do you get?
I get $243 a week.
So that's your weekly income. Is that the totality of your weekly income? Do you get anything else?
I get working for families tax credit, which is $92, and my son's he gets a child disability allowance, which is $92 every fortnight.
So you're earning under $500 a week, and you're paying $205 a night to stay here, which is money you're borrowing from WINS.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was the 9th of June. Tuani and her family were at that stage paying $1,435 per week to live at the same Takanini motel. And again, that money was repayable to Wins. They were running up debt. After that, the family was one of 5 accepted as part of a housing initiative run by the Manurewa marae. The concept was that the family would live at the marae in a cabin until housing became available. And they did, but a house didn't eventuate. And after 12 weeks, the family moved back into a motel. In this case, in fact, the Allenby Park Hotel in Papatoetoe, which I visited yesterday. How much a week are you paying to be here?
We're paying $2,310 to stay in this motel. Yeah.
A week?
A week, yep.
And for people listening, can you describe the place?
It is actually better than what we were in. It's the best one that has been able to accommodate our boy, Kaya. He's in the wheelchair, but it's still not somewhere we can call home. So, almost 7 months on, the trio are still living in a motel, hotel, lodge, now paying $2,300 per week. Now, this money is no longer recoverable by Wins. The taxpayer is paying that $2,300 for a very basic one-bedroom unit. Tuani, can you show me the kitchen you get for $2,300 a week or over $300 a night? Yeah. This is it. This is it. This is the oven, the fan, the aircon doesn't go, the fan doesn't go. We currently can't cook inside it, and we can only use a stovetop.
So the oven doesn't... So is the fan working?
Well, there's no buttons up here to turn it on, and only the stovetop works. The inside, the grill and the bake doesn't go. And we have a microwave.
And does the microwave work?
The microwave works, yes. But that's it, microwave, jug, sink, and an oven that doesn't work.
Tuani and her family were paying, in fact, Wins on their behalf were paying $2,300 a week for them to be in that accommodation in Papatoetoe. But after we spoke to them, it was a coincidence. The hotel said they were told they had to go. The hotel said it wasn't because of our interview, it was because it was a busy time of year and they were fully booked. Tuani was relocated by Wins to another hotel at a cost of $1,700 a week, so a saving of $600 a week to the taxpayer. In May, in response to the housing crisis, Te Puia Marae near Mangere Bridge in Auckland opened its doors to the homeless. Over 3 months, it accommodated more than 100 people and found permanent homes for more than 16 families. One was TA's family, the 11-year-old girl sleeping in a van with her family, whose dream was to have somewhere to do her homework. Her big dream was for a library of her own. Another was B's family, a 16-year-old with cancer. Her family had moved to Auckland so B could receive treatment at Auckland Starship Hospital, but had ended up in an overcrowded house and then had become homeless. Her story, highlighted on the Marae's Facebook page, put the issue of homelessness back in the headlines. But it also provoked a swift response. B and her family got a home. I went to Te Puia Marae to meet her. B, it's really lovely to meet you. How is it at Te Puia Marae? What's it like being here?
It's great. It's welcoming. Everyone's welcoming and they're kind.
B is 16, in age for NCEA and school socials. She's been homeless, out of school and has cancer. Going to Te Puia may prove a turning point in her life. Before that...
We're staying at my auntie's.
And how many of you were there at your auntie's?
Like 15 of us. 15
in one house. B shared a room with younger siblings, a mattress on the floor. In Auckland, this isn't unusual, but B has...
non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
And you're getting treatment for that?
Yep, chemotherapy.
And where do you get that?
At Starship Hospital.
And so you were getting cancer treatment whilst living with 15 people in your auntie's house?
Yeah.
This is classic respiratory illness territory. B wore a mask to fight winter infections. Her dad went to Housing New Zealand, but there was no home available. He did have a job in Hamilton, but B's cancer treatment was in Auckland, and they could find nowhere to live here other than with her auntie in that home of 15. Can you tell me about the past few months? Have they been stressful?
Yeah. When I found out I was diagnosed with cancer, from then everything just went hard, and it was stressful on my dad.
Nowhere to live?
No. He stayed at Auntie's, but it was overcrowded. Then my dad found out about Te Puia Marae, so he thought maybe we would come here.
Yeah, it is very...
Te Puia is gently abuzz during the day. Manaki tangata. Volunteers prepare meals. The food, like their labour, has been donated. The marae calls its guests whānau. Today there are 33 whānau here. It's safe and warm and they're served delicious homemade food. Homemade is something special.
I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for everyone's support and their kindness, but especially everyone at Te Puia Marae. They've been so welcoming and kind from the day we got here, and I'm grateful for that.
Success has many fathers. The government agencies now working with Te Puia are all part of a collective response here. But before Te Puia, these families did appear lost. Bee's father had asked for a Housing New Zealand home and not received one. She and her 4 siblings, including her 2 much younger brothers, didn't have a home. What do you dream of for them?
To have a home.
It's not much to ask, is it?
Mm.
Now they have a home. Things happen when you come to Te Puia. Huri, the story of Bee, she came here last week and they had fallen through the cracks really. Now they have a place to go, a new home. That must be wonderful for you.
Oh, look, for everyone, John, for everyone, you know, it's high fives everywhere. There's a lot of satisfaction. There's a lot of humility in there too, to see that we're helping a really nice Samoan family on their way and onto the next stage of their life. So that has to be a plus, because they're never going to forget the name Te Puia, that's for sure.
And Te Puia is receiving so much support they're now able to run a kind of food bank. People with homes but insufficient money for food are now getting help by the marae too. So Jackie, what is this food here? What's all this food? Loo rolls and lots of good healthy food?
Yeah, vegetables, fruit as well, for the families that are in need of food. So we just do up food parcels and stuff like that.
So you've had so many donations, so much food has come in for the families at Te Puia that you're now able to send food parcels out to other families?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we are able to send out food for families that need it. Yeah. And we just keep it here and wait till they turn up so they can take some food home for them and all their families.
What's happening here is a kind of respite from the stress of day-to-day subsistence. Huri Moana Dennis, the marae's chairman, says when you have no job, no home, no concrete sense of self, that hopelessness makes you helpless too.
You can't have a good conversation with people if they're under pressure or they're stressed about what they ought to know and who they should be talking to. So I just think we just need to take a bit of time out, catch our breath and just lower the stress levels a little bit so that we can have a proper conversation about how to deal with it.
Bee's family now has a home. They'll move into it tomorrow. The 16-year-old girl with cancer has somewhere to live. It's the first of 2 very personal victories Bee's planning to have. How's your treatment going?
It's alright.
Chemotherapy's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're going to beat it.
Yeah.
Te Puia Marae couldn't have remained open for 3 months, providing shelter to the homeless, care, love, support, without donations from the public and the generosity of volunteers. In June, I went to the marae to meet some of them. John Boy, tell me what it's like for you to work here, because we're seeing 2 things. We're seeing the wonderful generosity of the people who are making the donations and the volunteers who are giving their time and their love and their energy. But we're also seeing people arrive here in a terrible state. What's this experience been like?
When it first started, it was actually quite emotional to see babies come off the street, coming into the environment that we're in.
Babies?
Yeah, babies, 2 years old, 2 weeks old.
And where had those babies been sleeping, living? Where had they been?
Cars. That's where most of them they've been coming from, are staying in cars. And also TA's whānau have been staying in their van.
So TA was the 11-year-old girl we spoke to on Checkpoint on Wednesday night.
Yes, yes.
So she was living with her entire family in a van.
In the van.
And when they arrived, what did you think? I mean, did you have any idea that sort of thing was going on?
No, well, no, not really, you know, but it's a crisis.
I am in one of the rooms here at Te Puia, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people sleeping in here. And it's warm and it's dry and everything they have in the world is in this room. And much of what's in this room has been donated. And you feel like, wow, that's pretty tough. A family of 8 in one room and all their possessions in here with them. But before, they were living in a van and a car, which they would park adjacent to each other and move around so that they were never in the same place on consecutive nights just for their safety. Their youngest is 2 years old. And that's how they were living. So this is the most wonderful improvement. There's food, there's heat, there's light, there's warmth, there's running water, there's toilets, there's showers. So this is what's happening at Te Puia Marae. And this isn't TA's family that was also of 8, the 11-year-old girl we spoke to on Wednesday. This is another family in the same predicament.
This is, our perception of homelessness 20, 30 years ago was the single person. It's not, it's families.
Do you think people understand that?
I don't think so, but this is why we're doing this kaupapa. We need to show that homelessness taps everybody. Some successful people have ended up homeless.
Children.
Our leaders of tomorrow.
And no matter what's gone on in their family, the children have never done anything wrong. They've
Absolutely.
never made bad choices.
Amen.
And
Absolutely, John. All we need is our babies to grow safe, be safe in a warm home, and be able to read. Like TA said, I want to read. I want to be able to read. And it's just shelter is just the basic need of a human being. Shelter.
John Boy, what's this room?
So we're in the clothing department where all the luggage from our vehicles come straight into and get sorted. From here it goes into containers, and once the red room is all completed, then we'll start getting racks in and putting them on racks.
Now, for people listening on the radio, this room is completely full of clothes. And there are volunteers here working, including the Māori King's nephew is one of the volunteers. And so these clothes have all been donated, have they?
Yes, far as over America, been...
You're joking.
Yes, I'm not joking. They've been couriered from over there, from up north, South Island, Australia. Yeah.
Now, if you're listening on the radio, I've come into a room that is just full of thousands of loo rolls and tissue boxes and shampoos and washes and nappies and all kinds of things. Toothpaste, and I'm standing beside Auntie Mary, who is... Are you volunteering?
Yes, I'm volunteering.
Where are you from?
Well, originally born and bred in Taumaranui, but I've just come from Point England. I come here usually every other day just to help. Yeah.
Have you ever been in desperate circumstances yourself, Mary?
Yes, definitely have. So you can understand, so that's why I'm here, just to awhi, support them. There's so many people, and needy people out there. But yes, definitely.
What's it like when you feel like there's nowhere to turn and you've run out of money and there's nowhere to go? What does that feel like?
Oh, you get into a duress kind of situation where you just want to, you've come to a brick wall, you just don't know what to do, but cry.
Cry?
Yeah, because there's nowhere else to go, you try all these other options. It's just a beautiful feeling knowing that Te Puia has opened up to actually the whole community, everybody that's in desperate need, and there's a lot out there, not just the homeless. Some of them are have got about 20 staying in their own homes now that are just as desperate. So, yeah.
Look at you smile.
It's just awesome.
And it is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not awesome that we need it, but the response is awesome, isn't it?
Oh, yes, just everybody, I just couldn't get over coming in here. It's just so chocker. All the beautiful people out there that are helping the homeless, helping everybody. Kiwis, that's us Kiwis.
John Boy, I wish our listeners could see this, because we are in a room now. We've come into the pantry, I guess, and it is completely full of food. And where has the food come from?
So majority of the food have come from people just wanting to drop stuff off. We Pack and Save Countdown has donated pallets to support the people that need these sort of food. Yeah.
And just volunteers, just Aucklanders turning up in their cars?
Yes, volunteers even dropping them off. Our own whānaus are baking, and it's really awesome to what sort of response we get from the community. It's just overwhelming.
What are you doing? What's your work? Are you running the Facebook page? Am I in the social media department?
Yes. It sure is. I'm going, okay, what do you need, Liz? This is what I need. Radio, when? Last week. Okay. You don't ask, darling, you don't get.
What's your name?
My name's Tanya.
Nice to meet you, Tanya. So are you a collection person here, Tanya? When the food is dropped off, people come down the driveway we're standing at the end of, and do you sort of take it out and pass it on?
Yep, I do. And we sort it so that it goes to the right departments.
And what's been arriving?
Food and bedding, clothing, baked food, soups.
Old-fashioned homemade baking?
Yes, like everything. It's just, we have people that from catering businesses like drop off stuff as well. Like they'll drop off spit roast and stuff like that. Yesterday we had a guy come in, they had a meeting at their job, and then he dropped off the rest of their food, and it was like salads and roast pork, buns. So all that kai comes out to our whānau out here.
We shouldn't need this, should we? We shouldn't need to be doing this, but the fact that people are responding so wonderfully is a great thing, isn't it?
Yep, it is. And yeah, no, we shouldn't be doing this, but we have to, for now, look after our whānau.
Aunt Olivia, I thought I would find this experience today really sad, but I found it really moving and uplifting and wonderful. Why is that?
It's because the heartbeat of the marae, Te Puia's heartbeat is beating strong. It's guiding us. The whānau that are coming in are teaching us as well. They're teaching the volunteers and people like myself how life is out there. That's what the whānau are doing.
How is life out there? How is life for the people who are turning up here?
It's tough. It's tough. You know, we've got families, we've got single people, and they all have the same underlining story, that all they want to have is a safe home so that they can breathe. They've come here and now they can actually sit back and breathe. You know, they're breathing deep, their hearts are beating. I have a one of our men that came in, you know, I said to him, if you could sum it up, how would you sum it up? And with his arthritic hands, he said to me, I came in a closed flower, I left a blooming flower.
This is the best of New Zealand and the saddest of New Zealand all at once, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah, it is sad, but also there's always a good end to it, and that's happiness. Yeah.
And that is it from us on Checkpoint tonight. Please join us after the 5:30 headlines tomorrow night for more of our continuing review of 2016. Until then, from me, Rowan, Pip, our executive producer, and the rest of our excellent Checkpoint team, have a great night.